Clouds class. It's Meg Medina. I'm so glad to be with you in your classroom today, and I am especially glad to have received all your beautiful letters. I spent a lot of time sort of looking over your questions and really enjoying just how you came to the book. How exciting that your principal read it to you. That's kind of fun. When somebody very unexpected reads you a story, I love that. I love when being read to, I always have, but how fun to have your principal do that. I wanted to answer like the biggest question that you guys kept asking was, did you have a friend who really moved away? Like, how real is this story? And isn't that interesting, right? So stories, in some way, stories are 100% real. And in some ways, stories are 100% fake or made up. How could that be? That doesn't make sense mathematically, right? But here's the thing. The feeling of the story has to be true. The thing that you're saying about kids and growing up and missing friends in this case has to be true. But some of the events you can change around a bit to make a good story. So here's what I mean. I had a best friend in my life named Evelyn. Evelyn was not named Evelyn del Rey. Evelyn's name was Evelyn Guzman, and I'm going to show you a picture of her right now. This is us at my birthday party when I don't even know how old I was, maybe 9, right? Maybe you're that age now, 9, 10 in there. So here I am holding up a glass of Coke. And here's some of my friends from school and the neighborhood. This is Laura and Kyoko and Beth Landau. This girl was Rosa and Josephine. They were from Mexico. They lived right across the hall from me. This is Geraldine, who lived across the street. Y this one is Evelyn Guzman. And Evelyn lived a couple of blocks away from me. She lived on, I think, like 160th Street in Queens, which is where I'm from, in New York. And we had a lot of things in common. The biggest thing, aside from being the same age, is that Evelyn and I are both Cuban girls. Her parents had come from Cuba, and my mom and dad had come from Cuba also. So our parents could speak to each other in Espanol. And that's very handy when you first come to a country and you can't speak English, let's say, right? The language of the country. It makes people shy sometimes. It makes them feel worried that they're going to say something wrong or they can't understand what somebody's saying to them. But that wasn't the case with Evelyn's family, right? We understood each other. And our apartments were nearby and they were almost exactly the same. I mean, I could walk into Evelyn's apartment with my eyes closed and I knew where the living room was and the kitchen and the bathroom because it looked exactly like my apartment. And so I took both those things and I put them in the book, right? That feeling of a friend who's just like you, who you play pretend with, who you spin around and you drop to the floor with, like that kind of first friend. So that was all true. But in the end, Evelyn didn't move away, right? We lost touch. We grew up and we went to different schools and so on. And that's how I sort of lost touch with Evelyn. So when I was thinking about writing the book, I had always wanted to write about a first friend and how much we love them, right? Because we do love our friends. That person that you play pretend with and you hide in closets with, and But that's not enough for a book. In a book, you have to have some action. You have to have something that's going to happen that the character's got to solve. And so I went to this place called the Highlights Foundation. Do you know that magazine, Highlights Magazine? Sometimes you see it at the dentist office, right? And it's the one that has those hidden pictures that you've got to find. But anyway, they have a camp for writers and illustrators, believe it or not, where we go and we teach each other and we learn from each other. And I was at the Highlights camp, and there was this wonderful illustrator, the person who draws the pictures for books. Her name was Shadra Strickland. And she said, All right, we're going to practice writing picture books. In 1 minute, I want you to write every problem that you can have when you're 6 years old. Go. So, could you do that? You should try this with your teacher. So in a minute, we were writing as fast as we could. And so all the things, I get caught in the rain. I miss a school bus. My teacher doesn't like me. Everybody forgot my birthday. I don't have a, on and on and on. My friend moves away. And as soon as I wrote it, I said, oh my goodness, I have the problem, the pretend problem that I could add to the real parts of the story to create this book called Evelyn is Moving Away. And so my favorite part of the book is their friendship, the fact that they can feel like they're one person sometimes, even though they're so different. And that's a beautiful part about having friends, right? They don't have to be just like us. They could be very different from us, but we can feel connected with them. And that's a cool thing. And then my other favorite part is how they use their brain to stay connected. They don't lose each other. And I think that's really important right now, especially like when we just had COVID, right? And we're still sort of dealing with it. But, schools were closed for a long time. And there was all that time that we couldn't really see all the people we wanted to just see whenever we wanted to see them. And we had to really be creative in how we stayed connected with them. I didn't know that was going to happen when we were making the book, because I wrote the book before all of that happened to us as a country. But then the book came out at that perfect time. And I feel like that helped us feel a little better when we read it together. And I hope that's what happened for you guys when your principal read the story for you. Anyway, I'm so glad that you've read the book, and I'm really thank you for doing that. And I hope that you'll read other books I write and other books that lots of people write. Keep reading.